Hi everyone, welcome to Karl Woodcraft. In today's video I'm going to show you how I go about making shaker style doors using the table saw. As you can see behind me I've got some fitted wardrobes here and I need to make 7 shaker style doors for these. We're going to go over to the whiteboard, I'm going to go through the anatomy of how shaker style doors are constructed and some of the measurements you need to take into consideration when making these. Here's the gap then for the door, and the shaker style doors are constructed with 5 components, and you've got 2 stiles, which are the long pieces that run down the sides, and you've got 2 rails, which are the top and bottom. I always remember the rails as in because they're running horizontally like this, so it's like a handrail. And then we've got the center panel, so that's only 5 components there. On the rails here we have some tenons, tongue and groove tenons, which are going to give us our strength for the doors. And then the panel is also rebated in 10mm all the way around. With my rails and stiles, I normally do these at 70mm. I think that's about 2 3/4 inches. Some of the measurements we need to take into consideration then, say our opening is 600mm from left to right across the width. 600. We need to minus the stiles, which are 70 each side, 70mm, so that's 140. So minus 140, that takes us to, what does that take us to? 460. So that equals 460mm. So this piece here then is reading at 460mm, but we need to remember to add the 2 tenons on. The tenons are going to be 10mm each, so that's 460 plus the 2 tenons equals 480. So we know that the rails here need to be 480mm across. That takes in consideration the tenons, and then when we add the 270s back on, we then fill the full gap at 600. We're using overlay doors, so we're going to fill the full space plus the outside of the carcass. The stiles are easy because that's just the full measurement from top to bottom of the opening that you need to fill. Hopefully all that made sense. If it didn't, you'll see as we get on with the build exactly how it all falls into place. Here's my regular blade then, what I normally use in my table saw, and this is a standard ripping blade with a kerf of approximately 2mm. Today, however, we're going to be using this 6mm kerf blade, which is going to be perfect for our groove and for cutting the tenons, meaning we're going to have less cuts to make and less passes through the table saw. This also has a flat grind, which means the tooth is nice and flat all the way across the top, which gives us a cleaner cut. The only issue with using these blades is that you need to remove your riving knife, so please remember to return the riving knife when you put your standard ripping blade back in your table saw, as this can cause serious injury if you don't do that. As you can see here, I've cut all my rails and stiles to size already. You want to make sure that you have all these done before you commence doing your tongue and groove or your tenons over at the table saw, because you don't want to have to make any changes once you start that process. We can't just go straight in to cutting the tongue and groove. We need to make sure that we're dialed in precisely on the table saw, so we get a practice piece first, we dial this in super accurately, and then we can run everything through all at once at the same time. I've got a combination square and I've set the combination square to 10mm, and I'm just going to lower the blade down at its highest point until the combination square hits the table. And then I know I've got a 10mm groove that I'm going to cut. The first thing that we're going to cut is the groove down the center of one of our rails or stiles. And like I said, this is just a practice piece. So the first thing I do is I eyeball the center of my material. This is 18mm MDF, and that's what I'm going to be using for this project. You could use your combination square again and accurately find your center, but I find just by doing it by eye on material this thick is easy enough. Locate that center line right in the center of the blade, and I move my fence over until we have a nice connection, and the center line is directly down the center of the blade, and then I lock it in position. We're then going to attach the feather board, which is going to keep everything nice and secure against the fence. Remembering to put your feather board just before the first tooth of the blade. You don't want it in line with the blade. Right, Now I'm going to make the first practice cut, run it through, and I'm going to run through once, spin the weight piece around this way, and then run it through again to make sure I'm directly in the centre, and then I'm going to test it to see if it fits the panel. Right then, let's test the panel. So the panel we're using is 6mm MDF, and that was a 6mm blade. However, with the 6mm kerf blade, it's a very tight fit. That's why when I run it through, I turn it and run it through again. That normally gives us about 6.5mm. So I test that, that should fit perfect, and it does. A nice snug fit, and that's because we ran it through and then turned it round and ran it through again. If we didn't do that, it'd be a bit too tight. So that's a perfect fit, we're happy with that. So now I can run all my pieces through once and get that groove down the centre of them all. Next thing we're going to do is cut the tenons. So we need to remove this material here at the bottom and here at the top, leaving this central part here still there. That's going to form a tenon. So we've used our combination square again. We've measured in the 10mm to make the tenon. And then we're going to slowly remove this material until we get to this line here, and then we're going to test fit the tenon. We've got a stop block here, which we can push our weight piece up to. We're just going to dial that in, and I'm going to just take it back a notch. So I've got a little bit of space to creep up onto. I'm going to lock that down there. I need to move the blade down because it's way too high here until it's at the bottom of the groove and just below, and then I'll sneak up onto this piece here and get that removed. Use the miter gauge and then put the weight piece up to the stop block, move forward and make the cut, making sure this don't slip and it's firmly held into position. Now we've got the tenon, I'm just going to check to see if it fits. Nice snug fit. And we're bottoming out perfectly on the bottom of the groove. So that's a good fit. All you need to do though, if it doesn't fit great like that first time, is just move the blade up a little bit or down a little bit until you get your tenon to the perfect size. What I do is I always drop it down lower than I need to be and then constantly wind it up a tiny little bit, removing more material until the tenon's the perfect size. Also, if you do that with your table saw, if it's anything like mine, if I wind my table saw down, there's a little bit slack in the system, and I'm pretty sure it moves if you don't take that slack out the system. So by winding it up, that's taking any slack out the system and bringing everything up and locking it all into position, and I'm pretty sure it stays locked in position that way. So there we go, that's that bit. So now I can move on to cutting the rest of the tenons. I can run all them through now at the same time, and I know I'm going to get a good fit. This is probably the bit what takes you a little bit longest for the first time. Just make sure you've got a practice piece, have a little play moving it up and down, maybe moving your fence inwards or outwards a little bit, but once you get the knack of it, you can dial it in pretty quickly. Next part is the glue up. Ugh, bits of biscuit in my broom. Anyway, right, next part's the glue up. Just get everything ready. Glue, brush, sandpaper. Make sure that you sand the inside of your rails and stiles before you put it all together. Otherwise, it's a pain in the backside. So I generally just give them a sand with a sanding pad. Have a spare piece of wood just in case, and I'll show you why in a minute. A mallet and your clamps. So the first thing I do, I always do it in the same sequence. Just keeps everything nice and simple and organised. So I'll put a little bit of glue in the stile. Pop my panel in. Get my first rail. Put plenty of glue on the tenon. And again, a little bit in the groove. Tap that into position. Same again on the opposite side. And then same on the top. Get the last stile and pop that on. Make sure everything's nice and flush. If you need to knock one of the rails or stiles out a bit, normally it's the rail. Just put your scrap piece up against it like so and give it a tap with the hammer. Bit too far. And then that way you won't damage any of the inside of your rails or your stiles. Make sure everything's flush. Clamps, I like to use these parallel clamps. Just make sure you don't put any clamps along the middle because you don't want to be pulling your door in that way, literally just where the tenons are. That one needs to knock out a bit. Perfect. Make sure it's nice and flat to the bottom of your clamps. And then clean any excess glue off, and that's the job done, nice and easy. I hope you found that useful, how I do shaker style doors. There is going to be a part 2 to this one, which is the finger pulls, which are going to be applied to these doors. And as you can see down here on the drawers, we've added finger pulls, and we're going to be doing the exact same to the doors. So if you did enjoy that, stay tuned, and in the next couple of days, that video will be getting released. Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can do that through PayPal, Patreon, and channel membership. If you've got any questions, don't forget to ask in the comments, and I will do my best to get back to you. See you on the next one, guys. Bye.